welcome to Telling the Tale, the podcast where we go through each and every episode of Telltale Games' mini-games. This week, we are tackling the fifth and final episode of Strong Bad's Cool Game for Attractive People, 8-Bit is Enough, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Dustin Jackson. Hey Dustin, how's it going?
It's going great with me today, Mitchell, and you asked me to be here recording this podcast with you today. Is that your way of saying you're asking me for a challenge?
I might be asking you for a challenge. I might be asking you for a bit of a challenge. How was your day, though, before we hop in?
It's been busy. It's been a busy day. Me and roomies are getting ready to move, and we were filling out papers today. So that's been my day. I did that, and then came home, and then played Strong Bad.
How's the location? How's the new location?
The location is the best part about it.
Don't say where literally on air. Just is it good or bad is more the question.
It's great. It's a very good area. It's nearby so many things. I will barely have to drive anymore.
Excellent. That's what you want to hear.
That's the whole reason we did it, so I would have to drive a little less.
Is it?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Anyway, I just had some dinner, and I'm ready to talk about this video game. So first off, here's the stats. 8-Bit is Enough is the, 19th episode we're doing?
I think so. I think that sounds right.
It's the fifth episode of Strong Bad's Cool Game for Attractive People. It originally came out on December 15th, 2008, and it was directed by Chuck Jordan. Pop quiz, memory quiz. Which other episode this season did Chuck Jordan direct?
Was it the second one?
Let's find out. I was hoping you'd say it with a little more conviction, so I would also know it. Yes, it was the second one. It was okay. Strong Baddie the Free and 8-Bit is Enough. And I think with that in mind, those two episodes, episode 2 and episode 5, I think are the episodes that do the most with like creating new areas and using those new areas in alternative ways. So Strong Baddie the Free obviously had all those countries. This one has a bunch of video games that you can be inside of.
This is a big episode.
It's large. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's good considering it's the last one. It's just, like, while I was playing it, I was thinking, wow, there's so much more going on here.
Yeah, especially coming after Dangeresque 3, which was an episode that we both really liked, but it was doing more with the little it had than the past episodes, which is why it was interesting. Not necessarily just that it was big on its own, if that makes sense.
No, that makes total sense. Like,
this is big on its own, this one.
Yeah, Dangeresque 3 felt like a very, like, it is probably my favorite one, but yeah, it is more in terms of, like, using the license rather than being, like, this whole big thing. Which is fine, but I kind of like that this game is able to give us, I don't know, like, I like that certain episodes have different priorities.
Yeah. Each episode this season has covered one aspect of the Homestar Runner lore. Episode 1 covered the original, like, children's books where it's a race. And episode 2 covered all of the military stuff. Episode 3 was all the musical stuff, the bands. Episode 4 was Dangeresque. And episode 5 focuses on the fictional in-universe video game company, Videlectrix, and all of the games that they've made, and sort of what their exact vibe is. There's a lot of interesting, I would say very surprising reveals about Videlectrix in this episode that makes it, to me, feel like this is the most Telltale has sort of gone off on their own and started to write new Homestar Runner universe lore.
I agree.
Versus repackaging older lore. And that makes it very interesting.
Yeah, I like it personally.
But
I think
say in the sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say I think I appreciate it more because these past episodes have they have gone more into just referencing Homestar stuff. So you get that in the other episodes, and then this one you kind of get a little more.
Yeah, and it's interesting that this is the episode where they actually call attention to the fact that this is fan service. They have a joke where they're talking about they need to service the fan inside of their Trogdor arcade machine. Calling out that Trogdor is there as fan service. But in a lot of ways, this is actually one of the least fan servicey episodes because it's sort of its own story for the first time.
Yeah, it just hits on big fan. The parts that are fan service are like the big ones, like Trogdor.
Yeah. So, where would you rank this episode in the season?
I'm not sure. I liked it a lot, personally. You were telling me last week that my roommate who had recently played it really did not like this episode, but I liked it. I thought it was an enjoyable time, but I'm not sure where I would rank it.
Yeah, to me, it's a solid middle of the pack of the 5 Strong Bad episodes. Because it's definitely better than Baddest the Bands, in my opinion, and it's better than the first episode, Homestar Ruiner.
Yeah, I'm kind of debating where I would if I place it before or after Strong Badia.
I think I like Strong Badia more than this.
I'm kind of leaning towards that too, just because the concept of Strong Badia was really interesting and fun.
Yeah, I think Strong Baddie is better, and I think Dangeresque 3 is more interesting.
Yeah.
So I would have to say it's middle of the pack, but I really don't dislike it at all because those other 2 I put above it, I really, really like.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I dislike any of these. Like even the lower ones, I would say I like the ones I like the least of Strong Bad. I like more than the episodes I like the least of the Sam and Max games.
You like the Strong Bad episodes you like the least more than the Sam and Max episodes you like the least. Okay.
Yeah, like I would still put like Homestar Ruiner over something like Moai Better Blues.
Yeah, Moai Better Blues really felt like a stinker.
Luckily, so far, it's the exception to the rule. I haven't had any other Telltale games so far on this show that I've disliked.
Yeah, there hasn't been anything that we've played so far that felt like it dropped the ball. Mm-hmm. I imagine that in the future we're going to play some stuff that are worse than that, but not necessarily breaking an expectation like that.
Yeah.
Because Season 2 of Sam & Max started so strong with Ice Station Santa, and then Moai Better Blues is right after it.
Yeah, and then it just immediately picks back up.
Yeah. So it's just like a weird defying of the expectation. I don't know if we'll ever see another defying of the expectation like that, like just a weirdly bad episode in the middle of good episodes.
Yeah.
My understanding of how Telltale went past this era was very season uniform. So they would start thinking about like what was going to happen all in one season earlier than I guess they maybe did in the past.
Right. When did you say you think that started?
Probably like here.
With Strong Bad?
I
mean, like after
definitely with Walking Dead, but even before Walking Dead.
Yeah, I feel like Monkey Island pretty clearly has a story that they take into account for all 5 episodes.
Right, yeah.
But we'll get to that one.
So the episode opens with the ending of the last episode, which I really like. That's something Sam and Max would do sometimes. Yeah,
that's another weird one. That's not something that you usually do with Strong Bad. Like, even if there's hints for the next episode, it usually feels pretty self-contained. But this is continuing right after Dangeresque 3, and I agree, I like it a lot.
Uh, you see him jump into the air like he does in the credits scene for Dangerous 3, and then the credits end, and he immediately just jumps straight into his Trogdor machine. Great physical comedy. It's sometimes hard to make the animation of these games fit in with the physical comedy you're trying to match in the world, but this is super funny.
Yeah.
And just because he hits it in a weird way, it becomes sentient and alive and tries to take over his reality. That's just how this works. It's not even he spilled some juice on it or something that like made it bleed over into other realities. He just hit it weird.
This is also one of the few stories in Homestar and Strong Bad, etc., that like has stakes to it. It's like an actual big story.
Yeah, and not to get ahead of ourselves, but the way it ends, it looks like they messed up. It looks like the stakes were fallen. They actually ended up paying for it. It did not return to status quo.
Whoops.
Yeah, Trogdor. Well, I guess we'll just say it because if you're listening to this, you've either made good with the fact that there are going to be spoilers or have played it yourself.
Yeah, I think if you're going into the last episode of a season to listen to what we want or what we think about it,
yeah,
you know what you're getting.
Trogdor escapes the arcade machine and is just still alive. And they don't do anything about it. That's it. This might be like the canonical end of the Homestar Runner timeline. Have you ever thought about that?
I have not. I mean, this is also my first time playing this, so now I'm thinking.
Have you thought about it once? I guess. Yeah, because there's definitely about a decade's worth of much less frequent Homestar Runner cartoons after this, but not a lot of them. And I think if you wanted to, you could say those take place before Strong Bad's Cool Game for Attractive People, if you wanted to make the case that Trogdor actually killed everyone at the end of this game, and that's canon.
Kind of like how the SpongeBob movie takes place canonically at the end of the timeline, even though much, much, much more was made afterwards.
Yeah, because SpongeBob becomes the manager.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I never liked that the show just didn't respect that. they just didn't try to evolve.
Didn't end it after the movie.
Well, even if you want to keep doing it, I mean, I get that because the choice of who gets to keep making the movie is not always the showrunner. That's standard.
That's just how it goes.
You could at least like look at the movie that they made and be like, okay, well, I guess the next episodes are going to take place after that happens, and they just didn't want to do that, and that's like you could make a SpongeBob where SpongeBob is the manager of his own store. You just didn't want to.
Yeah, anyway. I guess it just disrupted the continuity too much, I guess.
Yeah.
They probably wanted to keep SpongeBob on an entry-level basis where you could just walk into any episode and, okay, this is how it works.
Entry-level SpongeBob is an interesting concept. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's something that this series, Strong Bad's Cool Game for Attractive People, has been very different than Sam and Max in, which is that they always try to return to a status quo between episodes. So while there are some things that are sort of soft threads between episodes, most of them are standalone. They're pretty standalone.
Right. And it works better for something like this than it would have in, say, Sam and Max.
Yeah, I mean, you get the feeling that at the first half or so of Sam and Max season 1, those could have been standalone episodes. They still are threaded together with the threat of hypnosis.
Yeah,
but they're largely independent. And now with Strong Bad, we're not seeing that at all. We're seeing completely independent episodes. Until now. Now it's sort of this culmination of everything that's happened, all of a sudden, those Videlectrix games that I was mean to you and got you to play, now they're all coming back. Like, it turned out that mattered the whole time.
Yeah, I guess I'm glad I played them, considering you have that connection to them now in this episode.
Yeah, did you like how your party was built in this episode? Was that
I loved it. I thought it was great.
I thought it was really great too, but sometimes they would say something like Strong Mad just joined your party, like the real guy Strong Mad, and then other times it would be characters from the video game. So it was like a weird bunch.
Yeah, because like the Poopsmith is playing a character. Strong Mad's supposed to be playing a character, but it just says Strong Mad.
Yeah, they should have renamed it the character name when you put Strong Mad in your inventory.
Yeah, I will say playing it, I didn't really think twice about it when going through it. Just now when you said it, I was like, oh yeah.
So there are probably a dozen disparate fictional Videlectrix video games mentioned in this game. Real quick, what are some of your favorites?
Like in the game center, the game sphere, the game world.
Well, there's a bunch of those, but there's also like my favorite is probably The Spirits of 76, which is a weird edutainment history game where you are like the American colonialists versus the British, and also your ghosts. Just also.
Yeah, I thought that part was weirdly fun.
Yeah,
it was... I went into it thinking, oh, this is probably going to be just an annoying little thing. But no, I had a strangely fun time with it. Going around the house, finding stuff, having to keep the ghosts at bay.
Yeah, that one's a favorite. I'll tell you who my unweekly guy is, and
wow, this early into it.
Yeah, I know. I'm jumping ahead. My unweekly guy, and the reason for one of these games being my least favorite, is Gel-Arshie.
Oh, you don't like Gel-Arshie?
Man, I hate Gel-Arshie.
No way. Oh, Mitch,
Gel-Arshie
you and I have a difference of opinion on this.
Okay, you tell me in that case about Gel-Arshie.
Gel-Arshie is he stars in his own game, and the game itself is not the best. Do you have the name of the game on you handy?
It's Gel-Arshie's Fruitboarder.
Okay. I've just always liked Marshy, and so Gel-Arshie is basically the same thing.
I've always liked Marshy, which is, for those who don't know, is the cartoon mascot for the in-universe brand of marshmallow, Fluffy Puff marshmallows. Gel-Arshie is like that, sort of, except instead of being a marshmallow, is gelatin, red jello, basically. And, like, holy wow. You can see his brain and everything, and he's way scary. And
he is.
He's I don't like it. He creeps me out.
I love him. I forget, was Gel-Arshie actually from Homestar Runner? Because I remember like a different version of Marshy. I think it was Gel-Arshie, and he says, "I'm an abomination, and I'm coming to your house after school."
Yeah, and you love that. You love that guy.
I love him. I love that he's creepy.
So I looked him up because I had the same feeling. Like, I couldn't remember if Gel-Arshie was just always there or not. In the Strong Bad email number 187, entitled Winter Pool, they try to fill up a pool with gelatin, and he is in that email. That is the one time and only appearance of Gel-Arshie before the game. And that email came out in 2008.
Wow.
So that was just like earlier this year, to be referenced later this year in a video game. Maybe it was even
interesting.
maybe they even did that on purpose, trying to like put some breadcrumbs down for the game.
That's interesting. For some reason, I was thinking like at least up until 200, I was thinking we're all done before Strong Bad's Cool Game for Attractive People. But no, it sounds like there was a chunk that, or a small chunk at least, that came out. Did Email 200 come out before or after Cool Game?
Let's look that up real quick.
Okay. Because I know they got through 200, and that's around when they started slowing down. So I figured that's when they were working on the game.
Yeah. Okay. I'm having a hard time. Fine. Okay. Email Thunder.
That's the one.
Is the name of Strong Bad Email number 200. That was in September of 2008. So that was during the release of the game. That was like between. I think maybe between episodes 1 or 2 or 2 and 3.
That seems like really good timing. Like how great you not only have a Strong Bad game going, but you reach the big 200 email milestone at the same time. That's a neat little coincidence.
Yeah, and they really made like an event out of that 200 emails.
Yeah, you had the Poopsmith singing.
Yeah, had the Poopsmith. They did not do too much after it. And I think between ending on the video game and the 200 emails, I wonder if they just looked at it and said, if we keep going at this pace, it will get bad. And it just shouldn't get bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That it's probably a good reason to stop.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, I guess think of all the material of Homestar you have before this game in Email 200. That's a nice little package right there. Like, thinking about it, you have so much you can still watch, but nowadays, they do it far less frequently, but you still get something every now and then, like a little treat. It's a nice little
like once a
treat.
Year.
Yeah, it's a nice little thing you get if you're a good boy or girl. It's nice that Homestar Runner and Strong Bad Emails gets to be this nice little package of so much content. Then the game kind of caps it off, and then you just get nice little emails or little shorts here and there once a year, maybe, if you're a good little boy or girl.
Yeah, I think about how good it is for us as people that like understand it and were part of it at the time to just still have all this stuff around. But also, maybe it's a bad thing the way it's organized for new people. I think about our friend Jeff, our mutual friend Jeff, who has not ever really watched a Homestar Runner cartoon. He might recognize the characters. We do, but like what? Do you know what I mean? Like just one of the emails?
Yeah, like Strong Bad Emails and just the cartoons in general, they're all so self-referential that like if we show one of these to Jeff, he's not gonna know. He's not gonna know who the Benedettos are.
Yeah, he's not gonna know the long historied family tree of the Benedettos. He's not gonna know Biscuit Dough Hands Man. Biscuit Dough Hands Man is my favorite individual joke in all of Homestar Runner.
It's so he's your favorite?
My favorite individual joke. Like there's characters I like a lot more, but just as a singular moment, I really love Biscuit Dough Hands Man.
I really liked when he showed up. Was it last week or the week before?
I think it was Baddest of the Bands, but on Pom Pom's like glossy photos.
Maybe. I think I remember. Yeah, that sounds about right.
It was him and Sonora Cardgage and Hamsar, I think.
Oh no, because one of them was Homestar. It was Homestar, and Senior Cardgage. I think.
I don't think one of them was Homestar, was it?
Yeah, it was. I
okay.
think Bubs had a picture of Biscuit Dough Hands Man, but I don't remember when.
Someone had a Biscuit Dough Hands Man reference somewhere. It's too long ago. I'm already past it. We finished playing the game. I'm done.
Yeah, that's a yesterday question.
That's a yesterday question for yesterday me. I can't do that right now.
The point is, Biscuit Dough Hands Man is great, and this episode has more to discuss.
So we've made it pretty far into this episode without talking about the plot. The plot is that once the Trogdor arcade machine breaks in a really destructive way and turns into a sentient Trogdor, Strongbad needs to replace the logic board and distract Trogdor with Homestar long enough to actually get in there and replace the logic board.
Yeah, because he'll punch you if you don't.
Yeah, he'll punch you, and he will also punch Homestar, but Homestar is just very okay with that. His head is just very spongy.
Yeah, he got that Homestar head.
It's got that empty rubber eraser head of his. Yeah, and once you do that, Videlectrix calls you, but you can't answer your phone, and they say, oh, by the way, if you try to replace the logic board while next to anything radioactive, you'll break our reality as we know it. Which is just like, okay, why? But yeah, that does happen because Homestar was just beamed with a bunch of radioactivity from the metal detector. And that's the last instance that we see of the metal detector. It's in every episode.
You don't use it in this episode.
You use it to find Homestar's lucky quarter.
Yeah.
Which is inside of him.
This is the one episode where you actually use it for a puzzle. Well, I guess you do in Baddest of the Bands a little bit, but... A
little bit.
This one, it's like actually a puzzle, and then it's destroyed right after.
Yeah. So once you put in the logic board, reality does shift to, like, intertwine itself with not just the Trogdor game, which I kind of don't understand. It should just be the Trogdor game, but it's basically every Videlectrix game. Every one.
Maybe it's one of those arcade machines that just has various games on them. You know the ones?
I know the ones. So there's a lot of games that are from other previously referenced Homestar Runner Videlectrix games from before Strong Bad School Game. Things like Peasant's Quest. Thy Dungeonman is stealth referenced within the Peasant's Quest section. There's Stinkoman 20XD6, which is probably my favorite. No, Thy Dungeonman is my favorite game of theirs from the website.
Yeah.
But Stinkoman is really good too. Some other ones, but then a lot of ones that you've seen just already. Just the past 4 episodes have each had a game that Telltale made up for Videlectrix, and those are now being referenced. So we've got Snake Boxer 5 in here. We've got the Math Kickers featuring the Algebros. We've got Limousine's Hot Babylon Odyssey. We've got Space Circus Catastrophe, which is a hard one to remember the name of. And all that's sort of why all those games were in those past episodes. They're all coming together now.
Yeah, who would have guessed it would have all built up to this?
It's weird that it can feel like Smash Bros. I got a sense while playing that, like, hey, this is cool. This is a big crossover. This is like Smash Bros. But then I remembered, oh, it's just one game from like one universe. It's not a crossover of anything. But it kind of is cool to see Snake Boxer hang out with like
the Algebros.
The Algebros. Yeah, even though they're from the same thing.
Yeah, and Limousine gets to come back.
Yeah, that's always good.
So, I have a question about that. So, basically, once the realities merged, it basically turned the real-life Limousine into the Limousine from Hot Babylon Odyssey, right?
Could be.
That's the way I interpreted it, because they remember Marzipan from the Baddest of the Bands. But at first,
yeah, I so.
thought... At first, I thought there was like... This isn't the Limousine, this is just the Limousine from the game. But I guess if the realities merged, I guess it would just make the limousine in our reality into the ones from the game.
Unless the limousine in the game takes place in the future, and then that limousine just would remember Marzipan, even though it's a different limousine, because it's in the future.
I guess that's
another option.
Yeah, I guess if you choose to think of it like that.
Yeah, you can choose to think of things all kinds of bad ways.
Yeah, however you want.
Anything that doesn't make sense to think about, you can just do that. Yeah, there's also a number of things that we've never seen before be referenced. Gel-Arshie's Fruitboarder, as we talked about earlier, was one of them. The Spirits of 76 is one of them. A game called Mista Fixit, which it was eerie to me that this game came out in 2008 because of the way that they described Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, it's like I was thinking of Fix-It Felix,
yeah,
but that was like 4 years off.
What year was Wreck-It Ralph?
2012.
That's 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 4 years off. Wreck-It Ralph's older than I thought it was. Weird.
It's almost 10 years old.
Oof. I don't like that. But then there's also Lade Crate Ape, which is basically a knockoff of Donkey Kong, the original arcade game, and it's branded as a game by Videlectrix for Her, which is just an insanely bad.
Oh boy.
But also sort of true to the era of how these video games were marketed at the time. These late 80s, early 90s video games were very much thought of as a boys' club. And did you look at the box art for Lade Crate Ape? Lade Crate Ape was described on the box art as a game from the brand Videlectrix for Her.
Oh, it's a whole separate brand.
Yeah, it's
that
like
makes games for girls.
It probably didn't make very many entries in that brand, but it's Lade Crate Ape, which I think is only for her in the sense that the bad guy in the game is a woman.
Yeah, it I'm sure it plays exactly the same.
Yeah, I'm sure. And did you get a chance to look at the box art for Lade Crate Ape?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, it says on it on a sticker, because girls might want to play too. So good. So they make Marzipan sort of has her genes spliced with Lade Crate Ape, which is hard to say, by the way.
Lade Crate Ape.
Lade Crate Ape.
I keep wanting to say Crepe Ape.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because Grape Ape is a thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's throwing a bunch of boxes. That's her new thing.
She's all about it.
And the objective here is to kill Trogdor. It takes a while. You got to do a lot of different adventure game, puzzles in order to get there, but eventually you will be able to kill Trogdor, which is, up to this point, something that's only been talked about in a hypothetical. You can't kill Trogdor. Trogdor is canonically indestructible. The closest person that's ever come is Rather Dashing in the game Peasant's Quest, who makes an appearance in this game also, and his voice is great.
I love it.
Rather Dashing basically comes close, but then Trogdor rolls over and says, actually, you can't really beat me, but you came really close. That's cool for you. And then kills Rather Dashing at the end of Peasant's Quest.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, good for you, man. You got me good, kinda.
I don't think I could have done
that. But they have a conversation. Strong, Bad, and Rather Dashing talk about it. And Rather Dashing suggests, well, I guess I could have been just trying to smite him the wrong way. And that's maybe your hint that in this version of the universe, maybe you can actually beat Trogdor. And it turns out to be sort of true and sort of not, because you do beat him in a battle, but then he's still around and kills you at the very end of the game. Yeah, and the way you do it is you need to find this Trog sword that is like the one sword able to kill him, and also know how to aim for his weak points.
That was fun.
And yeah, that once you do that, Trogdor's smote, and you leave the game having rescued Homestar, which is something that you also need to do.
Yeah, we didn't mention how
it's not the point of the episode, but you got to do it.
Yeah, Homestar is kind of your little sidekick for this episode that you're also trying to save.
Yeah, I love it. That's a great use of Homestar.
Yeah, Homestar is basically your sidekick for this episode, which fits in with the series itself. Homestar went from being the headliner to basically being the second most important character in the thing.
And the way Homestar gets trapped in the game like fully, and Strongbad has the ability to like go in and out of the games. But Homestar now appears to you as a UI display, just like a pop-up window. And he talks to you in the way that Navi talks to Link in Ocarina of Time, or any number of sidekick type characters in video games, and never helps. Like, if you try to fight Trogdor without the Trog sword, Homestar comes up to stop you, but he says, "Strongbad, you forgot your toothbrush." Rather than actually anything that mattered for
He's looking out
Trogdor.
for your dental hygiene.
Yeah, he's like mad at you. You forgot your toothbrush. Yeah, that's a great moment.
Do you mind if I interject?
Moments. Yeah, of course, Dustin.
One thing I wrote down is that there's so many good characters in this episode this week. There's so many memorable. I mean, I know we kind of don't see eye to eye on Gel-Arshie.
Yeah.
But there's also the Vidalectrix guys. There's Browntint and Chorch from the Stinkoman game.
They're great.
They're so good. And then you get all your party members from all the other games. Oh, it's great. The gang's all here.
It's really good. I
have it written down. Chorch sounds like the voices Mitchell does. He's a Mitch character.
Chorch does? I'll have to re-listen to Chorch.
Yeah, Chorch is the one that flies in the air with the claws.
Yeah, I know which one he is. I can't think of his voice right now.
Yeah, I just as soon as he started speaking, I was like, that reminds me of Mitch.
I can't think of that. That's so funny. Well, Dustin, I've now mentally linked Strongsad's voice to you.
Oh, thanks.
Well, it's your
really
fault.
Flattered. What, just because I can do Strongsad's voice?
Yeah. I mean, you do it really
sense.
Well. In a way that...
Thanks.
Yeah, it's really good. It's almost perfect. Maybe it is perfect. I don't know.
I gotta come clean with you, Mitch. I've been doing Strongsad all these years.
Yeah, I know. You've been doing... I lied to a kindergartner once when I was in kindergarten, saying that I was the voice of Ash Ketchum in the show.
Wow. Did they believe you?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
A kindergartner.
That's interesting that as a kindergartner, you already understood the concept of, like, someone else is voicing these characters in these cartoons.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
When I was a dumb little kid, I was one of those kids who thought, no, these characters are real. They really exist. Until I realized, oh, wait, no, that's stupid.
Well, sorry.
That's okay.
How long did that take? What age was that?
I don't remember. You know what I think it was? I was very young. I don't remember how young I was. It must have been like 5 or below. But it was when me and my family were at Disneyland one year. And you know how they have those costumed characters that walk around and, do their thing?
Yeah.
At the time, I was like, these are the real I'm meeting Mickey Mouse himself for real. Until I heard one of the costumed guys, they were Chip from Chip and Dale. and they were talking. I think they were talking to some little girl who like skinned her knee or something. And I was like, that's not his voice. That's when my innocence was destroyed.
That's so funny. So like,
thanks.
When I was a kid at like Disneyland and stuff, how old were you though when that was happening?
I don't remember. It was so long ago, and we went to Disneyland like multiple times when I was young, but I think it might have been one of the first times, like when I was like 5 or something.
Yeah, when I was really, really young, like maybe 2 or 3, I wouldn't have understood that. But I think by 5, I was very confused about it. I remember thinking when we went to Disneyland and like we went to Pooh Corner and had like one of those breakfasts with Pooh Bear and stuff. I remember thinking at the table, I was like the only kid there because it was my parents and some of my aunts and uncles and stuff. And I was just looking around and thinking, hey, are we supposed to be tricked right now? Like, are we supposed to know? It's
Little Mitch looking around at his family. They're eating right out of the palms of their hands.
Well, because I would have assumed that my family knew. My family knew one way or the other. Either we are not supposed to be tricked or are supposed to be tricked. It's not like they were going to get the wool pulled over their eyes. I just didn't know, like, okay, how much are we actually supposed to play along with this bullshit?
That's so funny. I love the thought of this little child saying, like, what are you trying to pull here?
It was like that. It was,
and like just like pretending to go with it. It's like, oh yeah, yep. So you're the Goofy, huh?
So because it was Pooh Bear specifically that I remember this occurring to me with, of like, I know you're a guy in a suit, so like, how far do you want me to go with this? You want me to also pretend?
The Winnie the Pooh on the TV is flatter than this one.
You're a full adult person sized. I know that Winnie the Pooh is a teddy bear for a child.
Oh, I don't like
much smaller than me.
I don't like thinking of a whole grown man in a Winnie the Pooh costume.
Well, that's what it is.
I know, but of all the characters, I'm like, oh, don't do Winnie the Pooh.
Well, maybe she was,
even though that's what it is.
A woman, I don't know, but like it's an adult person doing Winnie the Pooh, trying to make me smile, and I'm like, no, we can smile. I just need to know like what wavelength I'm supposed to be on here.
Does the real Winnie the Pooh know you're doing this?
I don't think that was my thought either, because like I don't think I thought there was necessarily a real Winnie the Pooh.
Mm-hmm.
I just like, I know you're pretending to be something you're not. So like, do I go along with this or not?
And that led to you trying to steal credit for being Ash Ketchum.
It did kind of. I don't know why I lied to that kid, but
I wonder if he still believes you.
I bet he super doesn't.
He's
I bet
like
he
30
didn't later that day.
He's like 30 talking to a friend. Hey, I met the guy who voices Ash Ketchum a long time ago.
I met the guy who does it.
Yep, signed my lunchbox and everything.
Yeah, because like Ash is a 10-year-old in the show, which is always like comically young for the stuff that he does. But I was 5 at the time, so I was just trying to trick this person into thinking I guess that's older.
I guess that's
man.
The best. I guess that's the best age to try to trick people, because most of them are young and stupid enough to believe it.
Yeah, no, the best age to trick people is when they believe it, for sure.
Yeah,
when they don't understand how the world is yet.
they're most susceptible to being tricked and fooled.
Yeah, they're just like real dum-dums in kindergarten. People don't talk about that about kids, about how dumb they are, but they super are.
It's so true, and like it's not to be mean. That's just the way it is.
We should probably talk about the episode.
Maybe I guess we can make a little time for it.
I'm having fun just talking about the concept of kids
Winnie
not
the Pooh
knowing
stealing
shit about
credit,
actors.
stupid kids. This episode went to some places, and I like it.
Do you have anything special you want to bring up about this episode?
Oh, well, I brought up the characters. Let me see what else we got.
I agree about the characters. A lot of really good ones.
Yeah, like, that was my big thought for this episode. I was like, this episode has so many funny characters, lots of returning ones from the games. I have it written down in my notes. I want to join the good graphic Cateers.
I also wrote that. I also wrote, I would love to join the good graphicateers, the Electrics fan club.
That's one of my absolute favorite things they've ever done in Homestar Runner, is the good graphics video.
Yeah, it's good.
It's making me crack up just thinking about it.
Good graphics. I said good graphics.
Yeah, you better make good graphics. Let's see what else I got. This is the first time they used Strong Sad's dead plant. They used it as a decoy for Trogdor. It doesn't play into any puzzles or anything, but it's the first time anything's actually done with it. Charlemagne.
Yeah. Charlemagne's not from a cartoon, is he?
Maybe. I would have to look it up. It might just be a thing for this episode just because it gives you more to click on and hear dialogue for. Oh! This is the first time you can reach into Strongbad's pile of clothes.
Yeah. No. Not 100% true, I think.
No, because a couple episodes ago he says, like, I'm still not reaching in there for at least another couple months.
I think you get I was sure you get like a collectible something at some point from there. No?
I don't think so. Like, I think the whole thing was they were building up to it, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I believe that.
It's possible I just did not get the collectible you get from reaching into it early. But like he specifically says.
That's where you find Homestar's phone from episode 1.
I was kind of hoping you could call people like you did in episode 1, but I guess calling the Videlectrics guys is still a good runner-up.
Yeah, that's a really good moment where the Videlectrics guys don't want to answer the phone, so they pretend to be an automated voice system. And then Strongbad also does that in order to get away with not paying for it. And like,
it works.
Both of the people fool the other one.
I love it. This honestly, I don't think I have that much else to say about this episode. It's pretty straightforward with the all the games you go into. We already brought up the ghosts. The ghosts are around afterwards, and you have to take pictures of them, and I didn't get a single one of them.
Yeah, well, not pictures, right? It's a light gun.
Well, no, because I think what you do is you see the ghosts around just in the field after doing the strong house, and then you use the camera in the upper left to take a picture of it before it disappears.
If you hit it with the light gun, you get points.
That might be it. For some reason, I was thinking it was the camera. I don't know why. Maybe if I actually tried to do one of them, I would have known this.
Mostly they only show up in a way that lets you do it in extended play.
Yeah. Let's talk about the big finale, the big ending.
Okay.
Yeah, because it turns into Doom, basically.
Yeah, it basically turns into a Wolfenstein 3D or Doom sort of. Now they're called boomer shooters, which is so funny to me.
Is that really what they're called? Is that what people call them?
It's the name of the genre. It's a boomer shooter.
Oh, okay. Because they're old?
Yeah. Quake is also one. Yeah, you go into Trogdor's lair through Peasant's Quest, and all of the bosses and bad guy characters from the games that you've played so far in the season show up, and they want to hurt you, and you got to use the right party member on them or item on them. Like there's a polynomial equation that you fight at one point where you need to put the math kickers on it. And
yeah, I like this. It
I love
feels
that.
like it feels like a real build-up. It feels like all of the team has something to do here. It's like that. I'll hold off these guys. You go on up ahead, strong bad.
At the very end, you are driven into a small room with Trogdor in it. You hit him with a Trog sword, and he dies. And
Or so
then-
you think.
Yeah, or so you think. Because then the entire room becomes retextured in like PS1 era non-aliased bitmapping graphics. And Strong Bad gets redrawn as this low poly, low res texture, like guy with a sword and stuff, where he needs to hit Trogdor's weak points. It's a really cool graphical moment.
Yeah, it's interesting that this has a nice big ending that really mixes up how you play it. It kind of reminds me of the strategy game in Strong Badia the Free, which, you know, makes sense considering who directed it.
Yeah, for sure. I think about this ending, and then I think about the fact that your roommate Adam really hated this episode, and I just wonder how. Like, I wonder why.
I wonder. I was waiting to hit like some sort of like really bullshit moment that just is not fun, but I don't think it ever came.
I think that he was very intent on 100%ing every episode, getting all of the,
I did
the
not do
checklist
that.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Adam's
I
going to be
didn't
listening
this
to
time.
this, so he'll hear us. I'm sure he'll have a little dialogue with us about it. He's been listening to these episodes.
Yeah, I totally get that. Well, the Dangeresque 3 extended play was so good because you would go to each place and it would play as bloopers or outtakes or like cast interviews, and that's awesome. And then
I
this
still need to do
extended
that.
play didn't do that at all. Didn't do anything
Yeah,
like that.
the extended play mostly feels like a missed opportunity, except for Dangeresque 3. But I'm glad we at least got it. We got a cool one in Dangeresque 3.
Yeah.
Would have been nice for this last episode to have something cool in extended play, but... Well, it kind of does. You can play the Trogdor game afterwards.
Yeah, you can do that. I still kind of think that the Sam & Max way of just having the episode end no matter what, like you can't really go back to it and find all the stuff you missed. You just end it. That's probably the better way.
Yeah.
Because it should be something that you go through. Like, that's the kind of thing an adventure game is. It's made to be an interactive approximation of storytelling much more than like this checklisty sort of fetch quest of small moments.
Yeah. And like I was going to say, I was thinking about it and I was thinking if you have extended play in these episodes, I kind of prefer how sometimes Telltale will have episodes lead into other episodes. And they did that with this one off of Dangeresque 3. But like with Sam & Max, if each episode had extended play, it would be a little weird because like episode 1 leads into episode 2 and like so on and so forth. Like it would be weird if Chariot of the Dogs had an extended play when it goes right into What's New Beelzebub.
Well, I guess Dangeresque 3 did that too.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was saying
and it goes right into this next episode.
Yeah. I was saying how extended play kind of felt like it worked a little better for Strong Bad, but I totally forgot that that's how this episode even started.
I think there is a moment where if you start Dangeresque 3's extended play, it doesn't really cut from the end of the episode. It cuts from Strong Bad just sitting on the couch talking to the camera saying, "Hello, you've reached the extended play for Dangeresque 3, The Criminal Projective." And
it's basically just showing you like extra scenes like bloopers and stuff.
Yeah, it's it's part of the movie. So it does.
Yeah.
I guess the extended play does not take place after the episode in that case.
Yeah, it works in a way that lets this episode stem right off of that. But, like, I don't think you could do an extended play with, like, Sam and Max, for example, for that exact reason.
So here's a question, Dustin.
Okay.
Do you think there could have been a season 2?
Of Strong Bad?
Yeah.
I don't see why not. I mean, I don't know what else they could really do. They kind of hit, like, the big notes of things you expect from a Strong Bad game, but I'd be down with season 2.
I think I'd like a little more... one episode with maybe a more strong focus on emails, just as a thing that Strong Bad does.
Yeah, that's interesting that this whole thing kind of starts out more based on Strong Bad's email. I guess, to be fair, this isn't called, like, Strong Bad Emails the game. It's just called Strong Bad's Cool Game for Attractive People, but this one doesn't have any emphasis on the emails. Neither did the last one. I forget if Baddest of the Bands did.
Yeah, not so much. I think Strong Baddie of the Free, where the King of Town is impersonating someone in order to coax Strong Bad into something, is like the closest they get to really playing around with the concept of these emails mattering.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly they don't. There could have been a lot of stuff. I think there's a lot of other opportunities they could have taken to pull on lore from other like Homestar related things. Like, they never got into the old timey Homestar section where
they could do a whole old timey episode. That would be a good one.
I'd love that. The those old timey skits are some good ones.
Yeah, I love when old timey Homestar goes, "What?"
Yeah, he does say that a lot.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything else I want to bring up, I think.
I don't think I do either. Like I said, this episode's pretty straightforward with what it does and what you do in it.
It is. Let's
not that that's a bad thing, but I'm also not like, I don't really think there's that much to bring up that we haven't already.
Yeah, I would. You know what? I would say this and Danger-esque 3 are maybe go back and forth to me. I still think the best one might be Strong Baddie of the Free.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
I think as a game, I would put Strong Baddie of the Free over Danger-esque, but Danger-esque is just so funny. I can't possibly put anything over it.
Okay.
Plus it has Senior Card Gauge.
So it does have Senior Card Gauge.
It has an unfair advantage.
But this one has Stinkoman.
That's true. Stinkoman's good.
Stinkoman is good. Let's hop into our segments then.
All right. I like these segments.
Okay. What is your golden moment?
My golden moment, let me think about it. I think it might just have to be the ending. I think it's a good climax. The whole first person part of it is an interesting shift.
Yeah.
And it really feels like it's building up to this final encounter with all the hallways, and you're using all your teammates. It's a great climax of the episode.
I've written down here the PS1 graphics area is specifically my golden moment, like where the part of the ending, but like where the room shifts into PS1 graphics is
it's pretty cool. The design for Strong Bad and Trogdor both look they're cool models.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of other great moments there. I like any time you use Snake Boxer. He's good. I like the little conversation you have when you get to Stinkoman's area.
I love talking to the enemies.
Yeah, Chorch and Browntint.
That's a hard name to say. Browntint.
Yeah.
It doesn't roll off the tongue very well.
No, it's like not how English is supposed to go for some reason. Yeah, those are great areas. I like talking to Rather Dashing. A lot of good moments.
Rather dashing is good. This episode was hard to pick a guy of the week for because
Not
there's
for me.
just so many.
For me, I know exactly who it is. But
all right, let's hear it.
Well, first, potent pickup.
Oh, potent pickup first.
Get that out of the way.
What's yours?
Mine is snakes.
That's a very good one.
Sometimes you can just put snakes on something and then ask Snake Boxer if he will punch it, and he will do it if there's snakes on it because he boxes snakes.
Yeah. Mine kind of includes the snakes. I kind of cheated and just said all of your party members.
The party member, yeah, okay, if you can do that, I guess.
If I had to narrow it down to just one, I would probably say Snake Boxer himself.
I like Gel-Arshie as an item you use.
Yeah, that's true. You just don't like when he talks
I just
or interacts
don't like
with you.
Gel-Arshie as a person, yeah. And I don't like that in the final battle with Trogdor, you have Gel-Arshie expose his weak points by flying above him, making him look like, and I'm here too. Like, out of everyone, Gel-Arshie gets to be part of this moment. That's the worst. I hate Gel-Arshie. But I mean, that's clearly on purpose. That's what they're trying to do with Gel-Arshie, so.
Yeah. He's an abomination.
My weekly guy, as you asked, is Stinkoman.
Nice.
And I have some quotes for the linguistic gymnastics section later, where we'll talk about why. But Stinkoman is so good in this. And underplayed. Another good one is just Homestar again. Homestar as a UI helper is a great weekly guy candidate. And in any other episode, I think it would have been Homestar.
But not in the episode where you have Stinkoman.
Yeah. How about you? What's your weekly guy?
So, here's the thing. I said it was hard to pick a weekly guy, but that's just because there were so many good ones. But I think I had my weekly guy picked, like, a little bit into the episode. I picked the Videlectrix guys.
The Videlectrix guys are really good, yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, part of that is just because I liked them before the game. Like, I already mentioned that segment they did is just so funny to me. And this is also so funny. It just, the first one yelling at the other one.
Videlectrix pisses me off that I can't use that word for my video game company.
I'm sorry.
Like, it's such a good dumb name for a video game company that it's it's crossed over from being good into makes me mad that it's taken. It's so good.
Wow, it's just transcended.
Yeah, it absolutely has. The Videlectrix guys are a great weekly guy choice. Good job. Do you have an unweekly guy?
I'm going to say Coach Z because all he did was die.
That's true.
Nothing against him, but he showed up and he kept dying from scorpions.
Mm-hmm. Until he gave you the scorpion food.
Yeah. Well, he throws the scorpion food.
In order to not have it.
He doesn't give it to you.
To not be attacked by scorpions anymore. Yeah,
he doesn't even directly help you. He's not doing anything to help you. He's just throwing the scorpion food so he's not attacked by scorpions, which is fair. I would probably do the same. But, you know, I'm not the one in an episode being judged as the unweekly guy.
You know what? I have one golden moment that maybe I like a little bit more than the PS1 graphics thing.
Oh, really? Go ahead.
I just thought of it. But I really, really like that the hub for going into different Videlectrix games looks like that poster, that Videlectrix poster, which is based on a real life 1980s NES poster that had a bunch of like NES boxes coming out of the wall. It was, I think, the first instance of them using "Now You're Playing with Power" as a Nintendo slogan. And
interesting.
I've had the thought long before playing this episode of I really want to be in that poster, just in the world that this poster is expressing. And
well, Strong Bad has a line that is basically saying exactly that one of us might have for our linguistic gymnastics.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, let's head in there.
Okay.
And Dustin, what are your linguistic gymnastics?
I feel like I didn't have it. It kind of reminds me of What's New Beelzebub, where because the story was such a focus, I guess I didn't pick out that many like super funny lines, but I did have a few.
Okay.
So when you look at the Videlectrix poster, Strongbad says, "I bet that place with the flying video games looks way cooler in person."
Yeah. I just sent you a picture of the Nintendo version of the poster. If you
there it is.
Seen
now
it
you are playing with power.
Yeah,
I
reality cracks and there's space behind it for some reason.
Yeah, I like that Strongbad looks at this poster and he considers it a place.
I also did, though. Looking at this poster back in the day, one of my cousins had it on the wall. I think this poster came with the NES bundle that had Rob and Duck Hunt and Mario Brothers. Like that bundle with Rob in it and everything. This poster came in it. And I remember a lot of people had it. They just had this poster.
That's also I never knew that poster was based off another poster.
Yeah, it's one of those popular posters.
My next one is when you're trying to get Homestar to stand in front of the Trogdor machine, and Homestar says, "I'm great at standing in front of things." And Strongbad says, "Yeah, you're a regular stand-in stan."
This is before the Tumblr usage of the word stan, too.
Yeah, he was just using it as a name.
Yeah. Now he stands standing, which is an interesting change.
Yeah. The times they are a-changin'. I like a lot of the lines from the Videlectrix guys. Videlectrix, we use computers to make video games. And when he's yelling at the other one, he's yelling at Strongbad. Strongbad's questioning the hints he's giving him. Because the hint he gives him is just use all your items with your other items. And Strongbad's like, "That's a hint?" And he says, "I didn't fight in 3 console wars to take that attitude from snot-nosed little... These hints are the best that 99 cents a minute can buy!" But really anything they say is very funny.
Yeah, I like all of the references to the fact this is, I think, a new revelation for Videlectrix in this episode, that they are not a retro video game company.
Yeah, they're just
currently doing it.
They're making these games now.
Yeah, they're a now company. They're doing 8-bit video games in 2008.
Yeah, I guess, if you go in thinking these games are a product of their time, that's one thing. But if these are games that came out today, I don't think they're... But Strongbad still loves them. He still thinks they're very cool.
Yeah, there's a collectible... There's a set of collectibles in this episode that are Videlectrix gamer cards. And they're basically like Garbage Pail Kids cards.
Oh, yeah, I got a couple of them.
One of them is... Carpal Tunnel Connie. She has carpal tunnel, and Strongbad says, reading it, "I guess that would have been funny back in... When was this printed? 2006? So only 2 years old at that point.
Gamer jokes.
Yeah, gamer jokes. Those... Yeah, so Videlectrix is just like a modern company. They've always been presented, at least I thought so, in Homestar's universe as like an old thing that for some reason Strongbad is still attached to his childhood with. He just hasn't moved on to modern equipment.
No, but this is just a company that makes bad video games.
Yeah, they currently use computers to make video games that are these video games.
Yeah, they say they make 3D graphics, but they don't.
They sometimes do. There's the Your Head Explode vector graphics.
That's true. That's counts 3D. As 3D. So my next line is when you're talking to oh shit, his name is already escaping me. The guy in Peasant's Quest.
Rather dashing.
Rather dashing, that's it. He says, I'd like to see you get rock or throw baby wearing long pants.
That's a good one.
Another is when you're talking to Stinkoman and you're telling him about the enemies that are shooting at him. Brownton you're talking about, and you're saying he's shooting those pretty fast or something, and Stinkoman says, yeah, he wishes on his birthday.
So I wonder what those are inspired by. I wonder if that's like it's specifically the vibes that the original bad dub for Speed Racer got. Like the English sort of. It seems like it was dubbed in Japan with some people that knew English on a pretty good level, but still didn't try to make it conversational at all.
Yeah.
And it seems like the whole Stinkoman vibe, there's a little Dragon Ball mixed in there too, for sure. But Speed Racer seems to be what they're pulling on the most.
I agree. And the game's obviously Mega Man down to the enemies. Okay, the last line I have is when Strong Bad becomes Ultra Strong Bad for the final boss, and he says, I'm the best graphics ever made. I'm the best graphics.
Fun fact about Ultra Strong Bad and that version of Strong Bad, there was a web series that Telltale put out that was, it was sort of like Who Framed Roger Rabbit with cartoons on real life filming, of Strong Bad breaking into the Telltale office and trying to get into the files and make his game cooler.
I remember those.
And one of the things he kept trying to do is give this drawing of him with a big old sword to everyone. So this version of Strong Bad is that drawing.
It paid off. They listened to him.
Yeah, it like those things were building up, I guess, to this moment of when Strong Bad gets a cool sword.
What a weird thing to build up to, but I love it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
you
really
wouldn't know what this is unless you watched those shorts, which you should have. But that's awesome. I
mean, who should have? Like, how many people are gonna... Okay, yeah, you're right.
I'm not saying they, should have before playing this game. I'm just saying they were fun.
There's a scene in one of those videos where Strong Bad makes fun of Dave Grossman for having a Pajama Sam thing on his desk. And that's just like a weird worlds collide moment.
Yes,
that
I bet you never thought you'd hear Strong Bad talking about Pajama Sam.
Yeah. At that moment in my life, that was like because I didn't even know Telltale's history as being former LucasArts, and I definitely didn't know the connection between LucasArts and Humongous, so that was like a 4-step reference that I was supposed to understand.
You had to pause the video and take a second.
But I did know Pajama Sam, and I did know Strong Bad, and it was really weird seeing them come into contact with each other.
I kind of feel that way just whenever they reference Sam and Max in these. Like, obviously...
Sure, yeah.
Obviously, Sam and Max has the connection with Telltale, but it is still weird having, like, these two series that I grew up loving just kind of referencing... Well, one referencing the other.
Yeah, I found Sam and Max through liking Homestar, so for me it's not that weird, but I can totally imagine it being weird.
Yeah. So, Mitch, why don't you let me know some of your favorite lines? I think you got a couple brewing in that head of yours.
I got a whole one. I got one that I care about. I got some other ones that... okay, so here's some other ones. Strong Bad, you forgot your toothbrush again, is a good one. The way Strong Bad introduces the tarantula black metal detector and attachment shovel for the 5th time. He's just like so bored of it. He goes, once again, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the black metal detector and attachable shovel. That's a good one. But the one I care about is if you go to the Stinkoman scene and ask, or you tell Stinkoman, hey Stinkoman, I like your cool robot boots. Stinkoman says, I know! They make me jump at real high. Plus, all the girls think I'm a boy. But they think all they need to do is grow up. And I can kick! And Strongbad says, okay, man, shut up. And Stinkoman says, you shut up! You're dumb, and your head is wide like the river. You have the river head!
Mitch, I want you to know, I had that written down in my quotes as well, and I chose not to say it because I figured you would.
What a good friend you are. What an excellent friend. I really wanted to do that quote.
Yeah, the thing is, I didn't know that was going to be, like, your big one.
I loved it.
So I'm extra
so
glad.
Funny.
I'm extra glad that I didn't know.
I especially like, plus all the girls think I'm a boy, but I think they all need to grow up.
I think they all need to grow up. Man, Stinkoman's kind of a jerk.
Stinkoman's kind of a jerk, but they need to fit like 4 years of character development into a sentence.
Yeah.
And I can kick.
I guess they did as good a job as they could have.
Yeah, man, Stinkoman is so funny to me. It's one of the best ones. Okay, and that's really all I got for our segments. So,
Mitch, we've finished up Strongbad's cool game for attractive people.
We finished up Strongbad's cool game for attractive people, episodes 1 through 5, the whole series.
And this was my first time playing through episodes 2 through 5.
Yeah, I gotta know. First off, how was waiting for this experience for 13 years? How did that go?
It went okay. You know, a lot happened in that 13 years.
Yeah.
I don't want to bore the listeners by going into my whole life story, but, you know, I had some events.
Sure. But I was mainly wondering, so why do you think it took you so long to come back to it? And
I don't know.
Now that you've done it, why do you think, or how do you think it measured up to what you thought it was going to be?
That's a good question. I don't know why I just never got around to it. I think what it was is I felt like I needed to be in like just the right mindset for it. Because I feel like there's lots of games out there that I'll play and then I'll just kind of gloss over it. I'll just be like, okay, well, that's done. I wanted to wait until I was in a good spot to really focus on this game. And I guess nothing's a better spot than being forced to do it for a podcast.
I do love whenever I remember that, like, oh, I am kind of forcing Dustin to do this. That's rude of me.
No, it's fine since I like these games and I want to play them. But at the same time, it's also putting me off of wanting to play other point-and-click games. Like, I was going to play through all of the Monkey Island games, but then I thought, maybe I shouldn't if I'm going to be playing point-and-clicks, like, every week. Yeah. I probably don't want to do more and then get sick of them.
Well, speaking of Dustin, well, wait, hang on. Before we go in, I forgot the second part of the question I just asked you. How did it go? What do you think compared to like what you thought it was going to be?
It was about what I expected it to be. I mean, the thing with Homestar is, after watching all of the emails, all of the little cartoons for most of my life, well, that's not true, but a good part of my life was spent watching these. You know, I kind of know what to expect from a game version of it, and I think they did. We mentioned it in past episodes how it feels like one of the best video game adaptations of something.
Yeah, just a very strong adaptation, a very faithful adaptation.
Yeah, and so like, even if overall I wouldn't say it's as strong as the Sam and Max games, I had a great time with these because it's more Strongbad, it's more Homestar.
How would you rank the following?
Okay.
Telltale Texas Hold'em, both Bone games together, Sam & Max Season 1, Sam & Max Season 2, and Strongbad's Cool Game for Attractive People.
That's tough. we've discussed it before about how our feelings on the source material kind of color our opinions on this a little bit. So I'm kind of like, where would I would definitely put Sam & Max season 2 at the top.
Yeah.
Even though it has probably the worst episode of Sam & Max. And I'd say the worst episode in that season is worse than maybe everything except Telltale Texas Hold'em.
Yeah.
And I'm even struggling to put it over the Bone games. But
I think I would, but only just because I like the tone of Sam & Max more, and that survived in that episode.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing. I just overall like Sam & Max a lot, so that gives it some bonus points.
Yeah, I think the bottom is Telltale Texas Hold'em, not necessarily because it's that bad, but just because it's not much.
Yeah, it's obviously just a little practice thing.
Then above that is Bone. And Sam & Max season 2 is definitely better than either season 1 or Strong Bad. So the question is, do you like Strong Bad's Cool Game for Attractive People more or less than Sam & Max season 1? I'm today, as of right now, I'm thinking more.
I'm kind of thinking more too. It's such a hard thing because I feel like it's not as good as half of season 1, but better than half of season 1. So it's kind of like right in the middle of Sam & Max season 1.
I think there's no bad episodes of Strong Bad's Cool Game for Attractive People, and there are bad episodes of Sam & Max season 1, or at least
That's
lacking
true.
Episodes.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you, but I'm giving Strong Bad the nod just because of how much I love the source material, I think. And I do love the source material for Sam & Max as well, but there's just something very special about Homestar Runner.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I agree with that. So, we are going to be playing a new game after this. We have to, because this current game is over. So,
I'm kind of sad.
I'm
kind of sad this game's over.
Yeah, me too. This was fun.
Yeah. But don't be sad because it's over. Be sad because it happened.
Yeah, and be sad later, be sad earlier. Just be sad and learn to appreciate that, because that is the rest of your life, and my life, and your Dustin's life. And
it don't get better than this.
Yeah, take some time to be sad and learn to be happy with your sadness rather than striving to be sad being happy, you know?
Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better myself.
I don't think I did say it at all. But
that's okay.
we are going to be playing Nelson Tether's Puzzle Agent next. It's a full standalone game that is one of Telltale's very few completely unlicensed games. I'm excited. I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited too. I remember wanting to play this when they were releasing, but I just didn't. I guess similar to Strong Bad. I don't know why, but I just remember thinking that is interesting. That's interesting that this isn't based on anything.
Yeah, it's kind of sort of based on the Grickle comics by Graham Annabelle, who was much like how Steve Purcell was an employee of LucasArts, but then just doing Sam & Max comics on the side. Graham Annabelle was an employee of Telltale, doing Grickle comics on the side. But unlike Sam & Max, Grickle is just more of an art style. It's not a universe at all. They didn't need to license Grickle in order to do this. They just made a game that has the art style of the Grickle comics.
Yeah, exactly. It would be like how Dragon Quest is similar. It's the same designer as the Dragon Ball series, but you don't count it as part of the Dragon Ball series.
Yeah, sure. It's like that. I have played the first Puzzle Agent. I've not played the second.
Ooh.
And we'll tell our listeners we're going to play them both back to back, treating it like a mini season, sort of like we did for Bone. One episode per game. And you can get these on Steam. These ones are currently available. So not a problem with accessibility in this particular case.
I have a feeling this is not going to last very long. Not for these, but just on this show. We're going to have some hard-to-find stuff later on.
Yeah, well, what I thought was interesting was most of the stuff that's actually like really hard to get was the recent stuff.
Yeah.
Toward the end of Telltale's arc. Not like a lot of the beginning stuff they just kept access to over a period of over a decade. I don't know how they did that.
I guess it's just because of the much bigger licenses they got later on, like Game of Thrones or or Guardians of the Galaxy is obviously a huge one.
Yeah, that one's hard to find. That one is going to be a challenge.
I was looking through them, and I feel like that one might be the hardest one.
Yeah, it might be. Minecraft Season 2 is actually also pretty difficult. Yeah. Anyway, so that's all for this season. We'll come back at you next week with the first game in the Puzzle Agent series, Nelson Tether's Puzzle Agent. And until next time, we'll see you later.
Take care, goodbye, I love you.
Wait, Dustin.
Yes.
Are you on Twitter?
Yes, I am on Twitter now that you mention it.
Sorry.
I'm on Twitter at AmazingDJDustin, which is also my Instagram handle where I post all my silly little drawings and doodles and whatnot.
I'm on Twitter too. It's at the Wolfe FM, Wolf with an E at the end because that's my name. And that is now the episode. We'll see you next time, for real this time.
Goodbye, I love you for real.
Rhino feeder. Oh, I was dreaming about muffins. I wake up every morning feeling awesome. Even though I slept on the remote again last night. Ow! Time to tear up another day. This strong bad freaking way. Like an imploding star, like a burning car. My style shines so bright. Please stop trying to handle my style, 'cause you can't. No, you can't handle my style. Seriously, quit trying to handle my style unless you're a lady. Then you're cordially invited to have a giant slice of my style.